Hey guys, Saf here, and I'm back into Camelot in King Arthur Legends Rise. Thanks very much to King Arthur for sponsoring today's video. We're back in and we're diving into some gear optimization. Now, the one thing that I would say with King Arthur is very difficult for a new player is trying to understand how should you approach gearing in the game. There is a wide array of various different armor set pieces. We even have some accessories that you kind of get later on as you progress that I still am learning a lot about, which actually have some incredibly powerful effects. But what I want to do today is talk about the one thing that you should absolutely start, the first place you should be looking for in terms of gearing, and that is how you set up your support characters. Now, this game is built around a very key principle called the Vigor system. So every character's cooldowns, every legend's cooldowns here, all their abilities from their relics, it either generates or requires vigor. And being able to have enough vigor at the time in which you need to use your abilities is crucial for you to find the best way to defeat content in the game. Now, every hero will automatically generate vigor when they take a turn. You see vigor charge 1, and then if they use their basic ability, the first ability, they'll generate an extra one. But those abilities are always not the ones you really want to do a lot of damage on, or you're sacrificing healing or some sort of things. But there is one specific set in the game that absolutely is insane for this, and you should put it on your support characters. And it is by name the Vigor set. So we can see here I got Ain. Ain is one of my key support champions. I use it everywhere in the game because of this passive 2, which gives me a huge amount of damage, critical strike damage, counterattack for my team. Also on the A1 here we get some immunity, and when we use the relic with this ability here, we also get an attack increase. So I can put substantial buffs on my damage dealer. But as a support champion, I don't need damage sets. So what do? We look at the Vigor set. And what that does is it doubles the natural recharge. So instead of getting 1 per turn, I'm now getting 2. And then if I use the basic ability, the first ability, then you're going to get 3. That is really, really big. That's a massive increase. And if you put 2 in your team, it's going to be a big deal. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you exactly how this could work in a fight. So let's go into Frozen Plain Aldry here. I haven't really pushed as much in here as I should be able to. We're currently using the new legendary Gilroy, trying him out. I've just pulled him today, so maybe there'll be a guide in the future on him. And we've got my main damage dealer. If you haven't seen my last video, go check out Bedivere. He is the king of damage. I use him in all my teams, basically. And then we've also got the 2 supports that I'm using here. We've got Ain and we've also got Turin. These 2 together, when you pair them, you get some good balance. We automatically go into Night and Rain. If Ain is present here, we get an extra recovery increase. They work quite well together. Now, in both situations right now, I have Vigor set on both my supports. So both of them are going to be generating my Vigor system. So let's start the battle here. And I'll kind of show you why Vigor is really important. I'm going to take it off auto. And what we can do here straight away is we can look at skill order settings. So I can define what I want to do. So generally speaking, I want to always prioritize the second ability for Ain, so I get that counter attack and the critical damage boost. Turin, I actually want to do all 3 ideally, because the third ability here gives me speed up. But before, I didn't have enough vigor, so I always had to push it onto the second ability here to keep the vigor going. Bedivere, because we've got a single target, I really just want him to use his second ability here. I don't want his third. His third is weaker. And then Gilroy, we've just got him opening with his ability that places the burn. Now you'll see if I open this up now and I put it on auto, the vigor system is going to be much better. I'm always pretty much going to be on 2 or 3 or higher. The moment these guys take a turn, Gilroy's doing his thing. It's kind of cool. He kind of kills himself, but he kind of doesn't. He probably is going to die here. He's not pet leveled up. You see the vigor difference here at 2 and 3, 2 and 3, which means that I always have access to Bedivere's second ability, which requires 2 vigor. That's his big single target damage dealer against bosses right now. I always wanted to have that available. So if you don't run these vigor sets, what you end up being in the situation is he falls back to his single ability, which means you're doing far less damage. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Vigor set off and show you the difference here, why it's so important. So we're running through here now. We'll finish this off pretty comfortably. The supports can use their second and third abilities, and we still have plenty of Vigor. We're not ever really dropping below because we're running double Vigor set. They're naturally recharging, and this is why this is going significantly faster. First time we've actually dropped. That's the difference. See, the first time we actually dropped, probably because Gilroy wasn't there generating for us, so therefore it changed the rotation. We did it at 1 minute 11 seconds. That actually might even be my fastest time so far. it is my fastest time. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the vigor sets off and show the difference. So I'm just going to switch this over quickly, and I put this on a piece that nobody's wearing anything. Let's just put this piece on here, break the vigor set, and I'm also going to do it on here, break the vigor set. Okay, so both of them now don't have vigor. They're only naturally recharging. Let's go and play this again, and you'll see how much, just visibly, the vigor bar system is now much more tricky to maintain. So far we're okay. We've still got the 2 every time. We're at 0 now. We're still holding pretty good at the moment, which is great. Let's just check out that we are allowing all of our skills to go through. We are, so basically Turin is able to use these. Now, it could be that I'm not forcing Turin to do anything, so Turin is making the decision on the AI basis. There we go. And you're automatically now going to start seeing the problem. We've run out of vigor. We have run out of vigor, which means that we're now no longer able to supply our 2 damage dealers the vigor they need to do their abilities. And recovery disruption, when you get into the second phase of Aldry, is really important. That's why we've got Gilroy here. You need to put recovery disruption, the boss will heal, and it will take longer. But you can start seeing that actually the vigor is running out, so we wouldn't be able to use all of our abilities here until the next time, because we have run out. So this is why vigor sets are really important on your support characters. You can use something like recovery. That would mean that you heal more, but definitely try to get at least 1 vigor set in is really important. You can see the time we're spending here is actually longer, 1 minute 18. Now, the other thing about gearing for supports as well is attack speed is going to define how quickly you run in battle, right? Attack speed here, it defines how fast you go. And the one piece of gear that can give you lots of attack speed are rings. Now, my gearing is what I would call pretty average for a player just kind of playing and learning the game. I've been playing King Arthur as kind of like not a hardcore vibe, but just learning. And you can see that 33 attack speed is very powerful as a primary stat. Now, it is, we're going to roll randomly. Not every single ring is going to do it, but look for those rings that have attack speed, because you want your supports going quicker. The quicker you can go with supports to make sure that they always get a turn, the better, right? You want them to be going before your other team so you can get more vigor. That's the idea. Now, how can you get these sets? Well, the good thing is with King Arthur, you can actually craft these sets, which is very, like compared to other games where you have to go and kind of just keep farming until you get them, you can kind of weight the advantage in your favor. So to make vigor sets, you need the legendary Lakestone, which is basically acquired from the story more than anything else. You really want to try and push as high as you can in story, because the legendary Moonlight Lakestones, especially when you want to get 6-star pieces, they all come from the story. That is where you need to farm. So actually, it's pretty good to get the vigor set because you can get them from various different places. Now, you still need to farm the normal gear dungeons to be able to acquire these sort of silver ingots, right? You still need to farm these, but these are not as specific. Compared to something like the damage sets, which actually do come from those dungeons, or maybe like the critical sets, or speed, right? These come from the Nest of Iskalhaig. You actually just specifically just farm the gear dungeon. To get vigor, you have to go to the story. So that's a big thing to remember. Now, you can also run some of these, the accessory sets. I have not pushed as hard yet, but I'm starting to. You get this material from the Fortress of Arcelus, right? These are the places. Now, not all of them. Some of them you can only get from alchemy. Now, the set that is really good is Unity. Now, the only problem is it's actually very difficult to get the material for Unity. Obviously, you can get the Strife, Immortal, and Corrosion set by just simply farming. These pieces here can be come from the Opal, so the Fortitude set can come from the Forbidden Dungeon, and the Focus set is in a situation like these 2 sets down here. Now, what Unity gives you is flat stats to your team, very good for support. Generally, these sets are more personal, so you're kind of looking at what your support is doing. I would say, for example, if your support just needs to stay alive, then Fortitude is pretty good. It's going to give you a big chunk of healing as a one-use situation. Corrosion is pretty good if your support is more of like a damage dealer from damage over time. Someone like Anguish, someone like, what's her name, Rosary, the one that destroys and chops up a bear. You've also got Immortal set here, which is not a terrible idea for support either, just giving yourself a barrier, which is a 2-hit barrier, just to sustain yourself essentially for a bit longer. Very good in arena. These are the sets that probably you're going to go to until you can even acquire these pieces. But vigor sets, attack speed, that's the crucial thing for supports. There are lots of other sets in the game that make you may look at it and go, oh, well, I want speed set, I want more attack speed. Vigor is going to define the success, because vigor is essentially what gives you the power in your ability to do anything. Now, there is a few things to note here. The healing set, if you wanted to bring someone that didn't necessarily need to Like say like you were bringing 3 supports, you don't really need 3 vigor sets. You're probably overdoing it. If one of them is a dedicated healer, then having the ability to increase recovery, improve the healing output is very crucial. And the next video you're going to see in the series that I'm doing is on actually one of the better healers in the game, which I would suggest the heal set is better than necessarily the vigor set. So there you go, a bit of a brief introduction into the sort of early knock-ins of gearing. We haven't really got into the depth of which stats do you want, because actually the stat distribution is very, I would say it's quite difficult to get, it's very difficult to learn early on in the game. That probably needs its own video completely in terms of, okay, which substats and primary stats do we want to prioritize? You know, there's lots of different ones. Pretty much any of these substats appear in the build. Pretty much any of these substats here, minus some of the things like Pierce, are going to appear. Like we have a drain set as well. So we do need to, I probably need to spend a bit of time myself learning and getting some really good, interesting ideas of like, okay, how much does it roll? What kind of star ratings can get to at different places? Where should we get, you know, different bonuses for different things? That is kind of like a deep learning curve. But vigor sets, attack speed rings, that is your starting point for support. Get them in your team. That will unlock a lot of your other characters' big hit abilities that need vigor and should hopefully get you further in the game. Now, if you want to play King Arthur, make sure you click on the link in the description or the pinned comment to download the game right now. Get involved. It's a really fun game. I have got a couple more videos coming out this month over the game, but it's really, really fun. I've been enjoying it. There is a lot to learn. There's cool different systems that I've not seen in other RPGs or hero collector games. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.